Glory and Gary and Benjamin. Of course, many thanks to Gary for the very beautiful translation. It's like the first time watching a play. I feel that the play is so strange to me. Or perhaps because I've presented more than 10 years ago. Yeah. So Isang, what do you want? What was your question?
What do you think of the translation? Do you think it's? Do you think it's? Does it feel so? It doesn't really feel. Does it feel like a different play now that it's in English?
Not really. I think it's still the mood, the expression, the tone seems very familiar to me. If I could write in English, I would write something like this. Yeah. I don't know what about the process of translation.
Well, I think what's become clear to me carrying out this work is that you're not just translating between languages, but also between quite different theatrical cultures. And the Chinese theatre scene is quite different to English. It's not just that the language is different, but the plays themselves are not ones you would find in English. They tend to be more abstract, less narrative-driven, perhaps more full of symbolism. I don't think that makes sense. Oh, okay.
I guess it's not a very typical Chinese play. You have translated Yin perhaps a bit more conventional.
That's true, yes.
With dialogues more dramatic. So this play is written with the intention of making it difficult for the character.
You are correct. It is true, sir.
Yeah, and it was written for Jeff Chen. He was the first director of this play, and I expected him to deconstruct everything and rebuild with the cast. So the one that was staged in 2002 was, I think, it was an entirely different play. So how was the directing?
Oh, it was interesting because I felt quite torn. Part of me really wanted to, if I were to end up having it as a staged version, I think I would go either two separate directions. One would embrace the very surreal moments of it, have a lot of puppetry and a lot of lighting effects to it, and play with all of that kind of elements to it, or go really graphic and have a lot of brutality on stage and a lot of violence on stage. But because it was a reading and it was a translation reading, I felt like I had to respect a lot of what was there and present it as honestly as I could. And I think it was kind of the conflict is like, I want to do like so many interesting things, but I will stop and I will let it speak for itself, because I think that was, in the end for me, what was more important in the reading than doing any of that. Yeah, but it was a wonderful process. I think the performance, we came up with a lot of fascinating things, and a lot of points at times we were like, oh, we didn't think about that, and it was wonderful. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Yes.
Are you very conscious of directing a translation as opposed to an original script?
No. To me, it was, for me, I tried to just look at how the overall feel went and try to play as honestly with that. And I didn't want to question if there was a shift. In my mind, as I am directing this translation and I'm going to be truthful to this translation. However, that has become or evolved from the original piece, and this will be what I would do. And that was how I was approaching it. Yeah, I think I would be more conflicted if I sat down with both and decided, okay, where am I going to in between? But I decided to use your translation as my base ground. Yeah.
Glory, do you want to say something about how you use language in your work, especially as Glory is about to star in her first Mandarin language production, to appear in her first Mandarin language production. But as a predominantly English language actress, now venturing into Chinese, what's the process like of A, doing that, and B, working with a Chinese script in translation?
I think one of the things I noticed, like, when we first started rehearsals, Lena asked us, how we felt about just having read the piece before we actually, started talking about it. And I said, because I work, primarily in English language theatre, I felt like, especially the first scene, Refugee and Lover, I felt like there were certain things that were very Chinese, and it could have been something in the sentence structure, the way, the way things are said. That to me felt a bit like, yeah, I understand that might be said in Chinese, but somehow it doesn't quite click in English. But that was only the first scene. The rest of it was pretty, yeah.
Any more?
Well, that's very beautifully written, very lyrical, and the moments in that, I think, very in sync with the Chinese version, because there's a lot of in between the interstices, the gaps, which I felt like was very. It has a cadence that's very beautiful. What I like about the piece, I always say, is there's always things in there that you want to run away to speed, and also yet the spaces that you do back, so you kind of attract the speed. Now I call that the reoccurring scenes of refugees and other things. It's a lot of possibilities. And I think in Chinese theatre, we always say kind of those things in between. And I felt that with the English version, and I felt that the lines is
I think in the translation, you always want to preserve a bit of that difference. It shouldn't feel entirely as if it was just written in English, but there should be a lot of the original in it, so there is that unfamiliarity and that difference.
It's very complex. Sometimes when you translate, because sometimes some translations, they don't get the words, and then they don't seem to fit very well. There's like listening to a piece of music, you hear that the whole thing has got a kind of alienating effect. But I didn't get it. It smells well of respect.
Any more questions? Yes,
I'm interested to know what was the process like when you translated a whole piece from Chinese to English?
Well, I'd seen Drama Box's production in '02, so I already had those images in my head. Even though they fractured the text and tore it apart completely. But 10 years on, when I came to this, I already had a lot of baggage from that and from knowing Siren and his work, and you try and honor that, but you also want to create something that will work on its own terms and doesn't need to reference the original exclusively, so that people who don't know Siren's work can still come to this and appreciate it. And yet, I wouldn't want, and also people who are familiar with this work will see traces of it in this version. So it's trying to find that balance. And we had a lot of, I discussed this with Alina, should we, because it's Singapore and both languages are spoken, you then have then do we do it in Singlish, do we do it in standard English, where is it set? it's not set in a real place, so what do we do with that? And there were a lot of issues, even just the pronouns. In Mandarin, everything, it's written differently, but it's pronounced ha. So the gender isn't specified, but in the English you'd have to make a choice. So there are various issues we come up with, and you try to solve each one as you come to them.
And why did you choose Symposium to begin with?
Well, I'm translating all his plays for the collected quasi-will to be published by Math Paper Press later this year. And I guess growing up, two of my formative theatrical experiences in Singapore were watching Invisibility and Bona, both at the substation, which kind of changed my understanding of what theatre could be or what theatre should be, and what kind of stories could be told, or if it was necessary to have stories. It was a different kind of theatre to anything I'd experienced. So when I was looking for a theatrical project to translate, Siren was the obvious choice.
So we're talking about the pronoun in the play. I don't remember. I can't remember that actually. For the first scene between the refugee and the lover, did I use the female her?
I think
Or
it was
did I
a
use?
male.
I used male.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was your translation, your choice.
Yes, but then we changed it to her because it was Laurie playing the part.
And Siren, so we went for the
I see. Okay. I
But,
can't remember.
but he actually changed it. I mean, and his translation was actually a thing.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
But then it wouldn't really matter in performance.
Of course, yeah. And in Chinese, if I write in the male ha, it could refer to both male and female.
Yes.
It's a neutral pronoun.
Also, I realized in hearing the reading of stage directions that it's more common in Chinese to just repeat names a lot. So in Chinese, it's perfectly normal to go, the scavenger, the refugee kills the scavenger, the refugee pushes the scavenger over the river. And it sounds normal, but in English it certainly sounds weirdly repetitive, but that's to get away from having to specify gender. There is this thing in this play about no one's gender is specified, and the director who played that.
I really like that when I had the choice of deciding. And I had a big like debate me, is this masculine, is it feminine? And I think after a while I was just, I don't think it matters. and so I think that's why we decided on the casting choices that we did, because I don't think ultimately it really mattered, because it was all in the head and it was all in the soul of this that was happening, and it wasn't an external experience.
Yeah, exactly. That was the intention. You can have it two men or two women, or one man and one